Hello, welcome to River and Dale Adventures. Having a little wander today with the little one. Say hi, Ara. But wow, we're having a little bit of a recce for a potential sup trip for later on in the year or start of next year. Just come to the beautiful Hebden Bridge, walking alongside the River Calder right now. So there it is, lovely little stretch. And also Trevor the trusty terrier, or terrible terrier, depending which day it is. We're just having a little bit of a wander, but just a thought that came to mind. I thought I'd share it. I saw a comment the other day, and I thought it was quite a valid one. It was someone was asking about whether anyone had paddled on a certain stretch of water over Derbyshire direction, and asking for hints and tips, access and egress points, any known access restrictions, and I commend the person for saying that. It was good going. But a little thought that crossed my mind, and a little comment that sparked it, was someone said that even though the river is there, it does not necessarily mean that we're allowed on it. As an avid paddle sports instructor and the like, it's kind of one of those things that's always been on my mind, and I think it's fairly kind of valid. I always talk about access with customers on sessions, and many people who come on my sessions, they inquire because they want to know where can they go paddling if they decide to get themselves a paddleboard or a kayak or even a canoe. It's like where can they go? And it's a valid question. But yeah, just because the river is there doesn't necessarily mean we have right of access to it. And this river is a prime example. I mean, the first problem with access is just how shallow it is. So I know it's hard to see from this angle, but if I point it down now, generally speaking, I don't know what that actually looks like, but generally speaking, if you can see the bottom, then it is too shallow, especially from a paddleboarding point of view. After all, we have fins on the bottom of our board that we don't want to get hooked up on. But another note is that if you fall in, we want it to be waist deep at the very least, ideally shoulder deep. So that is way too deep, way too shallow right now for a paddleboarder, even bordering on too shallow for a kayaker. One, for enjoyment, and two, from an environmental point of view. So those are some things to consider. Cheeky little heron on the journey. Always love a little bit of nature. Yeah, so it's too shallow, which is the big problem. But I don't know if you've noticed, this whole time that I've been walking, there are no access points. It's steep walls on the other side, and it is completely stoned in. So if you were to have an accident, you would get pinned, or you'd fall out of your boat, you lose your boat. It's a long walk in quite shallow water, and if anyone's ever done a gorge walking session, they'll know that walking in water, especially any water that's got some flow, is quite a tricky thing to do. So it's quite a challenge. And then you get sections like this behind me, or in front of me, I should say. So you've got narrowings, but it also goes incredibly shallow. So I'm just going to walk over to that bridge and we'll have a look. The other issue to consider for when it comes to access quite often is, of course, whether there are other users. So the canal is just the other side of this industrial estate that I'm walking through right now. I just nipped down to the river to have a quick look at it. But the canal has got some of the best access you can have, as long as you've got your Waterways license, whether it's Canal and River Trust, whether it is Thames Water, EA Gauge, Environmental Agency. You can look through all these different places, but British Canoeing is definitely hands down the best. But the river, yeah, going over that bridge now, like I say, it is a lovely little stretch of water, but you just can't access it. You can't get in. And like I say, with good reason on this one. But there's also fishermen. Fishermen are likely to be using the waterways quite a lot, and often fishermen and paddle sports, we clash all the time. We try to be amicable, we try to be nice, but it doesn't always work, does it? But anyway, I thought I'd just share that little thought. So even though the river's there, we don't always have access. Right, say bye, Ira.